Dear future Enoch, I'm recording this on a Monday because I have today off from work. So the long and short is that since my company is based in Alberta, and since Alberta observes Remembrance Day as a statutory holiday, I get the day off while the rest of my friends don't. Which worked perfectly for me because this weekend has been extremely busy for me. I had a photo shoot over the weekend with a nonprofit that I've been volunteering with for quite a number of years now. I actually did a press conference for them a year ago. And while I was there, I met a young man, roughly around my age, who was new to Canada, who asked me about opportunities to be a videographer here. I'm probably the wrong person to ask because my background isn't really in video, even though I am trying to learn the format. But also because I have no experience with actually running a photography or videography business, and in fact, I've opted not to. Now, could I make a living out of photography? Am I good enough? And to answer that question, I'll let you be the judge. The link to my photography website is in the description. But mostly, for me, it has to do with the fact that photography just isn't a really stable source of income. A lot of non-photographers think that all we do is shoot, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. There's all of the preparation beforehand, cleaning your equipment, charging your batteries, packing your bags. During the shoot, you're usually on your feet all the time. You're often taking directions, or you're giving directions. I mean, let's take last night's photo shoot, for example. It was a fundraising dinner, about 52 tables of guests in total. There were speeches and award ceremonies, live music. There was the need to go to all 52 tables and take a group photo with all of the guests seated there. You have to be familiar with your equipment because no one's going to be sitting around waiting for you fumbling with the controls on your camera. In addition to knowing the basic exposure settings, you also have to know and be familiar with using the flash because the banquet hall is too dark to do without the flash. You have to be able to give directions, you have to be able to pose the guests, you have to be quick because the guests want to get back to eating, but you also need them to get up and move because you need to get a good photo. You have to at least know the basics of good composition. You have to do a lot of squatting because you're not allowed to stand in front of the stage to block people's view. And ideally, while you should be able to get the shot the first try, sometimes you have to do retakes because that photo is essential and you can't end the night without it. It's not just click, click, click and you're done. It's a very specialized role. It's a very high stress role. And you're not done after the shoot, because after the shoot you have to back up your photos because if you lose all of the photos, that'll be the very last photo shoot you do. You have to be able to organize the photos because how are you going to send the right photo to the client if you're a disorganized mess? You have to cull the photos. I have 900 photos from last night. Longer events can easily double that. You can't send every single photo to the client. There are photos that are just test shots. You're not going to show that. There are photos that are actually bad. You're not going to show that to the client. You have to edit the photos. Basic retouching is almost a must. And there are sometimes photos that need more substantial Photoshop work. And then you need to worry about storage. For a bit of context, I have 5 terabytes of photos over the years. You can't just shove them all onto Google Drive and call it a day. You'll be paying through the nose for that. And you still need a way to be able to access, store, organize, and back up all of those photos. All 5 terabytes of it. The reason why I mention all of this is all stuff coming from a hobbyist. A guy who doesn't do photography for a living. Who does the occasional photo shoot, sometimes paid, mostly unpaid for charities and nonprofits. That's how much goes into photography. And that's not even counting the complexities of managing a business. You have to do the accounting. You have to manage your business's finances. You have to pay the taxes. You can't avoid that. You have to do the marketing. Because no marketing means no clients. You have to deal with customer support. And you have to do all of the business planning. Because even if you don't plan on being the biggest fish in town, you still have to plan for what to do when your equipment breaks and needs to be repaired or replaced. I don't have a degree in business, so I'm not the right person to ask for this, but reading online, looking at a lot of photographers who run their own photography business, most of the work is not photography. All that work, without the guarantee that you'll have an income, a stable source of income. Now, to be clear, I have nothing against people who want to make photography their primary source of income, who want it to be their day job. More power to you. And more power to you if you are able to pull it off. Don't let what I say discourage you if that's the path you want to take. I'm not here to shatter your dreams, but I won't sugarcoat it. I do want you to be aware that it's going to be tough. Future Enoch, I'll see you next week.